Hey mama, if you're listening to this, you might be carrying a secret that feels too heavy to speak out loud. You look like you got it all together, you serve at church, maybe you even lead a Bible study. You smile when you drop off the kids, but no one sees the other side of you, the one that comes out behind closed doors. At home, you are a completely different person. You yell, you explode, you scream at your kids, sometimes in their face. You tell them to shut up. You grab them too harshly. You throw things across the room. You smack them in anger, twist their ears, spank them in rage, and immediately after, you are hit with a tidal wave of shame. You cry alone in your room and you whisper, "God, what is wrong with me?" You feel scared and disgusted by your own reactions. You're terrified that someone might find out. You wonder if your kids would be better off without you. You feel unworthy, broken, and too far gone to be redeemed. You try to fix this on your own. You listen to podcasts, parenting books, download freebies, but nothing changes. You keep falling back into the same patterns, and it feels like you are stuck in a cycle that you can't break. You don't trust yourself anymore, and if you're honest, you are afraid of who you've become. But here's the truth, Mama. You are not beyond hope. You're not alone, and with God's help and the right support, you can change. I'm Elizabeth, a mom of 4 and an anger management coach for Christian moms. And inside my Calm Christian Mom coaching program, I guide women just like you through a powerful transformation. This isn't shallow behavior management. We go deep. We address your triggers, your stress, your mindset, your nervous system, and the spiritual root behind your patterns. We invite God into every layer and walk hand in hand towards healing. In just 12 weeks, you can become a completely different mom, unrecognizable. One who leads with patience, not panic. One whose children feel emotionally safe around her. One who cultivates peace. This summer, I'm offering a Calm Mama strategy session, a powerful 15-minute one-on-one coaching session designed to help you uncover the root of your anger and receive spiritual, emotional, and practical support. It's your chance to experience what coaching is like with me before diving deeper into ongoing support. If we both feel like the full program is the next right step, we can talk about what that looks like for you. You don't have to keep living like this. Your family is worth healing, and so are you. Use the link in the show notes to book the Calm Mama strategy session.
Hi, mamas. Welcome back to another episode of Emotionally Healthy Legacy. Today, I have a guest for us. Her name is Brittania Wilkerson, if I'm not butchering that. Okay.
Yep.
And she helps women break out of a life that they feel stuck in, and so they can create a life that they love. And I love this mission because I feel like a lot of us want to create the life that we love and enjoy and the life that we thrive in, right? She has 3 kids, ages 9, 6, and 2. She's been married for 13 years. So her and I have a lot in common since I have 4 kids, but been married for almost 13 years too. And just like a couple of years ago, this is like my life started to change, and I wanted to help other women as well. So welcome, Brittania. I would love for you to talk a little bit about yourself and like how did you even get into like this mission of helping women?
Okay, so I grew up in a home where I didn't really have the kind of parents that were emotionally supportive and it wasn't like we were in a family. It was like we were people living in a house, you know? And so that created a story for me that I live with today, but I didn't realize it. And so fast forward to having my second baby, and I was pregnant. I was depressed. It was not doing well, but I have my degree in psychology, and I've always been super interested in like improving myself and with people and things like that. And so I kept like trying to improve myself. I know I can, there's tools and stuff I can do, but I wasn't getting anywhere. And so after I had Rylan, I'm like, I'm going to do better. I'm going to figure this out, because when I was growing up, I had a specific, like, this is the kind of mom I'm going to be. And then when I had Elise, my oldest, I wasn't. I was very reactive. And I know you teach moms about this. I was like your ideal client, like super reactive, yelling at her, super stressed out. And I'm like, this is not the mom I wanted to be. What is going on? So then pregnant with Rylan, super depressed, had him. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. And through just a process of steps that I know I was guided through, which is just amazing, I ended up at an event in Salt Lake. I live in Utah. Mm-hmm. And the guy was teaching about vision boards. And in the middle of it, he said, and you can change your story. And my whole, like, you know how they say, and my life flashed before my eyes. It's like everything disappeared and my story passed before my eyes. And I'm like, I can change this. Like, this is what I've been wanting. I can do this now. It was amazing.
Oh, you're giving me goosebumps. Like
I'm giving myself goosebumps.
I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, because it's so amazing. We don't have to stay stuck in like the environment we grew up in. Like, we don't have to carry it forward. Yes, there's going to be lots of cycles that we need to break, but like, we can do this, right?
There's something you can do. Yeah,
you don't have to stay stuck.
Yep. And so one of the biggest things for me as I went forward, because so Rylan's going to be 7. I have to figure out things by how old my children are. So it's been like 5 or 6 years. I think it's going to be 6 years now since I had that moment. And I've gone on to find out that I have depression, and then recently OCD and different things, and anxiety. Oh, PTSD. That's what I meant. Instead of depression. PTSD, depression, anxiety. And it was the moment for me of, there's a reason I'm like this. Your story is the reason. Your story is the reason why you're like this, why you're stressed out, why you yell at your kids, why you do the things you do. And there's something I can do about it. It's not that I'm this horrible person, this horrible mom. It's because I have this story that I'm reacting to, and there's something I can do about it. And it's, I'm giving myself chills again. It's amazing. I love it. So just, that awareness. Anyway, I love helping people. And so I just taken that and, just created my business because I want to share that with people, because I talk to other women and my friends, and I just want to shake them and say, no, you can change this. Because one of my things I like to say is I help women go from, this is my life, to this is my life. Because I have a friend that always is like, well, this is my life. And I'm like, no, you can change it. So that's my story.
Yeah, you're right. I do have also like multiple friends that they're like, well, this is how things are. And like, I'm just going to have to make peace with it. And like, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, you don't have to stay like this. There's something you can do. Like, there's still things in your control. You can either the friend I'm thinking about, like, her house is like a disaster because she has 3 boys and like just lots of clutter. Right. And like, she's like, oh, this is just the way things are. This is just the stage of life. And I'm thinking to myself, because I went through Allie's, like information, and like, I never had a super cluttered home. So I didn't end up buying a course, but I went through several of her rounds of Declutter Like a Mother. And I bought some of her other courses that were so transformative. But like, I'm like, there's another way to live. Like my house, you can take a look at it. It's not perfect. It's not like deep cleaned ever, because I have 4 little kids, but it's not really cluttered, because clutter overwhelms me. It makes like chaos in my brain, right? Stresses me out. I'm thinking like, you don't have to stay like this. You can change it. You can rewrite it. So let's get practical. What is some stories that you were telling yourself that you lived through and you felt like you were reliving, and like, how do we rewrite that? Let's get a little bit more practical. What did you do to rewrite some of those stories? So let's like brainstorm and talk about a couple of stories that you lived through, like that kept impacting you, and how you rewrote them.
Okay.
Way.
So if I get off track, bring me back because I get lost in my talking. So I just wanted to, when you were talking about your friend, that's like, this is just the way it is. That's a story. That's a story of that's what everyone else believes. So I love Allie, the new story that she's showing us is possible. You know, I did this differently, and it just changes your whole, the thing I love about story changing is it changes the whole way you look. It changes your perception, and it's amazing. I love it. Anyway, it's not the answer to your question, but so some of the stories I was living, I know when I get super frustrated with my kids and I yell at them, it's because I have the story from my mother. My mother is she was very like, this is the way it is. This is the way it has to be. And
controlling.
Oh yeah. And she ruled the house with an iron fist. Like, this is the way it is. And so when my kids aren't listening to me and doing things like, this is the way my mom said it should be, then it triggers my, I'm not good enough. This is the way it should be. I'm not good enough because I can't even keep control of my children. Yeah. And it stresses me out. So some other stories I was living is, I'm not good enough. I don't matter. I'm not lovable, things like that. And so when you interact with other people and they treat you a certain way, like one of the things I learned about in college, because I studied psychology, excuse me, is love languages. And so when you're like, okay, well, I'm unlovable. So if someone's not speaking my love language, that's more confirming to me of my story that I'm not lovable. So other stories that I grew up with my mom kept an immaculate house. And so my house isn't like that because I have kids. I have people that live in the house. Doesn't mean I have to have a cluttery house, but it stressed me out because I'm like, I'm not doing good enough with my house, you know? Trying to think of examples of other stories. Is that good?
That's good. That's really good. Because like 100%, like the way we were raised, it impacts us so much. Like people have no idea unless they start like digging back and they're like, oh my gosh, this is why I do this. This is why I feel this way. Like for me, one of the stories, like you said, like my mom wasn't controlling, but my mom was, and she still is, she's very productive. She cannot sit down and just like not do anything. Like she doesn't know how. She feels like she's wasting time. She doesn't know how to rest. She doesn't know how to take a break. Even if she's sick, she will take Tylenol. She'll take Dayquil, whatever she needs to, just so she can keep going. Like she cannot literally sit down and rest. Because her mom was like that. She always feels like she has to be productive. Well, guess what? That transferred into me. And every time I would sit down to take a break, I would feel guilty for taking a break because my mom was always productive. She's always like doing things. Like my mom also, I love her. She's an amazing woman and she's learning these things as I'm teaching her these things, but also same thing. Like she has lack of boundaries and saying, no, like this, I have too much on my plate. I can't take this on. And she keeps saying yes and yes and yes. And like in my head, I'm like, she's an amazing Christian woman. And I'm thinking like, oh, this is what I need to do. Like saying no was hard. And so like I'm learning and I'm trying to change that about myself, but it brings up feelings of discomfort. Like, oh man, I feel guilty for saying no. Oh, I feel like uncomfortable. I feel guilty for taking time off and just literally resting. Sitting down to meditate seems so hard because I feel like literally I'm wasting time. I could be doing something productive, right?
Yep.
So, our stories, like the way we grew up, have so much impact. And like you said about like reacting and raising your voice when you're frustrated with your kids. One of the things for me that I am still really working on, this is hard, right? Because you're rewriting your automatic patterns of way you're thinking. But I was raised in a community, conservative, Slavic, Christian, Russian Baptist community. And the belief was, and it still is, that your job as a parent is to control your child. The more control you have over your child, the more obedient they are, the better of a parent you are, because your child's behavior is a reflection of how good of a Christian parent you are.
Yep.
So the story is like, I have to control my kids. So then I look like I'm a good parent.
Yes.
Right.
And it is so stressful because you can't control children.
That's the thing, right? They have since the day they were born. You can't make them eat if they don't feel like it. You can't make them fall asleep. You can't make them poop. Like, you can't control your child from day one, right? You need to be in control of yourself. The Bible tells us, like, have self-control, but we want to have other people control, right?
Oh,
and so when we feel out of control, we get frustrated, we get angry, because in the story is like, I have to control my kid in order to be a good parent. And since I can't control them, I feel like I'm failing at parenting. And then we raise our voice to get that control back. Right.
Yep.
So exactly. Like, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is so, so true. And okay. So tell us now, what did you start doing to change some of those stories? How did you start shifting that? And like you realize, okay, I can change my story. What did you start doing to start changing that?
So, so many things. So changing your story comes in layers. Like, I am still working on changing my story, because you go in and find different things. But I started with my mom's story, because I just was not happy. And so I was like, okay, this is what I don't like. So awareness is the first thing of like, this is what I don't like. I don't like yelling at my kids. I don't like feeling like a bad mom, because one of my things is I thought, well, I'm just not good with kids. I'm just going to knuckle down and hold on until my kids are older. And I tell people, when they're teenagers, it will be easier. And they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, really, it is, because this is miserable, And so being like, okay, this is what I don't want. And then being like, okay, identifying what you want. And so I identified what I wanted and wrote a story about that. And so I'd say, my name is Brittania Wilkerson. I am a good mom. I am the mom. And this isn't the story I wrote, I'm just spitballing this, but I'm the mom my kids need. I am patient and loving and kind with my children and whatever, things like that. I educated myself. I went and took a love and logic class. I read books. I follow people online that do the kind of parenting that I want them to do. Like, I follow Allie because I love what she teaches about your uncluttered home.
People that inspire you to keep going in that direction.
Yes.
And support you and give you like tips or resources that will help you become that better version of yourself, right? That new story.
Yeah,
that you're
educating yourself on that. Yep. So you want to, so your brain, your story's in your brain, obviously, and your brain wants to keep you safe. So your brain is constantly looking for things that support the story that you have. So if you're around people who are like, this is just the way it is, and and I'm super stressed out too, you know how we get together and we're like, oh, my kids are driving me crazy. And this is just the way it is. So you want to find people that support the new story that you want. So even if it's like people you find on Facebook that are similar, that are going through a similar journey, or books you read, or, people that you follow, just having things that support that new story. So I did that, learned what I could. And then you go back, you look at your old story and you go back because you got that story from your parents. Yeah. You got that story from the culture and society around you. You get that story from the media, which really drives me crazy, because the story that the media is portraying, and you're like, no, don't. Anyway, I get really passionate about this. And so you go back and you get that old story out. So that's like journaling, becoming aware. And so you can go back and journal about it and be like,
for example, let's talk on that fact that you react and raise your voice with your So like journaling about it, it's like, I wonder why I yelled at my kids today. I think it's probably because my mom was really controlling and I feel like I have to control. Therefore, I feel out of control. So I raise my voice, kind of like in that sense, like processing it, like why you yelled, what was the underlying root? What were you telling yourself in that moment? Like your automatic thoughts that were feeding that behavior, right?
Yeah. So you can journal. I yelled at my kids. Why did I yell at my kids? Because I felt frustrated. Well, why did I feel frustrated? And you just brain dump and write whatever comes to your mind. And you just keep going. And because I felt this way. Well, why did I feel that way? And you go down and you get down to a root cause and you're like, oh, and then you can deal with that.
I felt like my needs were not met or whatever it was. Like I felt like I didn't feel heard. And as a kid, I felt like my mom never heard me. She always ignored whatever I was saying. So my kids, I didn't feel heard by my kids. So then it just like brought up these negative feelings and it just exploded. And so like going back, yes. Okay.
Yep, exactly. So then you can say, okay, so when this happens again, instead of, I know that I'm reacting and blowing up because I feel not heard, I feel this way, you can say, okay, it's okay. You change the way you think. You change your story so it changes the way you think. It's okay that they're not hearing me, they're children. And if I react in this different way, I will get a different reaction. I don't have to yell. Like if my parents didn't yell, but my parents yelled and that's how they got us to do stuff. Like you don't have to do that. You can do a different way.
Yeah. And like one of the things I teach my moms is like, it's a when then statement. So next time when I feel frustrated, then I will blink. Like, what are you going to do differently instead? Like, cause
that's great.
You're like, oh, okay, I don't want to yell. All right. But what are you going to do differently next time you feel out of control, right? Like we need to figure out and come up with a plan and like remind ourselves throughout the day when you're not even stressed out or frustrated. Like, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
Like every time you wash your hands, like next time I feel frustrated with my kids, then I will take a deep breath and remind myself they are kids. This is normal. I'm in control. I got this, like whatever you need to do to like calm your brain down. Right.
Yep. And that is creating a new story, instead of doing this, I'm going to do this next time. And then your brain picks up on that. And the more you say, because your story gets in by repetitiveness. And so the more you repeat that, it gets into your brain and your brain's like, oh, we're doing this different thing now, until one day it just comes easier to you. And you're like, oh, this is amazing. My new story is showing up.
Yeah. So you're literally rewiring automatic patterns of, let's say, reacting or thinking. Like one of the things like my counselor used to say, she's like, you literally are creating like a new path in your brain. And it's like, first time you do it, you're like creating, it's like
sludging through creating it from scratch.
Yes. And the more you practice it, the more you do it, and it's going to become your new automatic. Like for me, one of the ones, like when my kids misbehave or melting down, it's like, oh my gosh, they're giving me a hard time. What the heck, And I knew that I am like rewriting and practicing over and over again. I have a good kid who's having a hard time.
Yep.
I have a good
Not
kid
giving me a hard time. Yep.
Yes. And like, I have a good kid who's having a hard time. And so when I have a kid that's melting down and my automatic is like, I have to stop it. He's annoying me. He's frustrating me. He's doing this on purpose. Like he's pissing me off, I literally have to like, be like, I'd say it even out loud sometimes to myself, like, I have a good kid who's having a hard time. I have a good kid who's having a hard time. Because, right, what happens is like, if we stay in the old story, what is it going to bring up? Those feelings, the frustration, that agitation, that anger, and then we react in ways we don't want to. Versus changing that, and we can change that story and help ourselves stay more calm and grounded and like calm our nervous system down, because what we tell ourselves is going to create even more of a threat or of a less of a threat, right?
Yep. And the more you do it, when you're not in the moment, even just thinking it helps to create that path. It's like you're physically walking through that path, even though you're just thinking it. You can, it's amazing. It's so awesome how our brains work.
Yes. And like, I think so moms, I need to, like, part of my story is that when I started on this journey of reteaching these things to myself, I really struggled a lot in the beginning. I really, really struggled because you are going against years and years. Like most of us are in our 30s who are listening to this. Let's say 30s out. You're going through 30 plus years of thinking one way. Things like automatic patterns and reactions and like thoughts of like one way. And you're literally trying to reteach yourself to do things differently. And I love this analogy I heard from another psychologist. And she said, it's like learning a new language. Like legit, try to learn Chinese right now.
Oh
Like,
my goodness.
oh my God, of course you're not going to think in Chinese. Like you're going to, especially when you're under stress, under extra
Yes.
overwhelm or anything, you go back to what's familiar. You go back to your automatic. Like you don't have to think. Your brain just does it. Right.
Oh yeah.
And that's why it is so hard. It's not because you're a bad mom. It's not because you're like failing. There's not enough willpower. None of that. Like, it's because you're going of like against years of automatic and you're literally rewiring and creating new pathways. And it takes like, I think what did my therapist said? She's like 500 to 1,000 times of doing it in order to become your new automatic.
Yep.
That's freaking a lot.
That is a lot. That is a lot. Yep.
And there's a lot of failing in between, right?
One of the things I teach is to set boundaries, which then you have to learn that you can set boundaries, right? Because you have the story of I can't set boundaries. And there's an amazing book. Have you read Boundaries by Matt Townsend?
Yes. Yeah.
I love, because it's by a Christian
yes. Yeah,
perspective.
like
I love
boundaries
it.
in marriage, boundaries with kids, just boundaries, like boundaries.
Boundaries. I know. I just want to say
Jesus had boundaries.
Yes, he did.
Jesus walked away when people were just like saying
I can't handle you people
that were triggering. He walked away.
So setting boundaries on the things that support your old story. So if that's people, if that's conversations, if that's, for me, it was one of the things, it's so weird for me to talk about back then when I first started, because I have a completely different life right now. I'm a completely different person. So one of the boundaries I had to set was certain things I wouldn't play with my daughter, my oldest, and letting her take her scooter on a walk. Because when we lived back then where we lived, we could just walk down the street and go for a walk. Letting her take her scooter because that was super stressful. So things like that stress you out, that are going to trigger the old. And there's things you can't set boundaries on. You know, there's just life and stuff. But setting boundaries on as much as you can with that, and then adding in the support for the new story. And so how you send, so how you're saying 5,000 to 6,000. So I have my ladies do declarations, that do vision boards. Do you know what a vision board is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So put pictures of things that they want up on their wall, and then have a declaration for it. So in the morning and at night, they're saying, I'm a good mom. You know, that's not one of my favorite declarations, but I know what my children need. I respond with love and kindness. I am patient with my children. I know that my house doesn't have to be completely clean. I'm okay with my house being the way it is. It will get clean. I just worked with a lady who is constantly cleaning, and I'm like, you don't need to be constantly cleaning. Like, you're stressing me out talking about cleaning all the time. And we went back with her to because my mom did this, you know. And so, and it was a light bulb moment for her. It's amazing the power that just becoming aware of why you do that, where the original story is. It's amazing the power of that. And so she was able to come up with declarations for that. Was, it can wait. It will I can get to it. It can wait. My kids are more important. There are more important things in this moment. It can wait. So just really having those mantras or declarations that you say to yourself as often as possible, like you're talking about, when you're not in the moment of stress, to support you when you're in that moment. Yes.
Those are awesome. I love it. I mean, the affirmation, mantra, declaration, it's like all the same.
Whatever you need to.
Whatever you call I call them affirmations, you know, but like even like for me, one of them, so I teach a lot about like patience and responding and staying calm. And one of the reasons I talk about it a lot is because it doesn't come naturally to me. Like, that's something I really had to intentionally work on, and still am working on. It's just like, I have little kids. Like, I live with little kids.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know,
they drive me crazy.
Yes. Every day there's an opportunity for this, right?
Yep.
And so it just doesn't come naturally for me. So I really had to be intentional about like, what do I tell myself? Because one of my stories was like, oh, I'm just not a patient person.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not patient. Like, I just easily get frustrated with my kids. I easily lose it. And like, even now, like, I'm a highly sensitive person. I do get overwhelmed easily, but I don't want to. I've learned to do things and not do certain things to support myself. So I'm not putting myself in that extra overwhelm.
Yeah. Setting those boundaries with yourself.
Setting those boundaries, right? So like a simple one is like, I don't go grocery shopping with kids. I don't.
Yes.
I do pick up groceries.
Yes.
Last year I invested into Instant Cart, and I'm like, I'm never going back.
best thing
I
ever.
just do pickup all the time. Like,
Yep.
I don't remember last time I was inside the store, just because I do pickup all the time. Right. And so
Yep.
that's something I do to save stress for me.
Yep.
So less stress, less overwhelm. But like, even for myself, like I had to, like, I am a calm and patient mom. I am grounded. I am centered. Like you said, I respond with love and kindness,
Yep.
saying these affirmations, like, who do you want to become? Right. Like,
Yes.
because it's like, yeah, I don't want to be this, but who do you want to be instead? Like, and affirming yourself, this is who I am now.
Yep.
And okay, so what happens if you're saying these things to yourself and then you still react? What do you say to that? Like, what happens? What do you do with the mom guilt that creeps in? Which we all like mess up, right? We all have mistakes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Even if you're not dealing with, like, if you had amazing parents and stuff, there's still going to be mom guilt,
Yeah. Yeah.
So you just have to have grace with yourself, which I know people say, but just say, it's okay. It's okay for me to make mistakes. But one of the things I teach my people is to write out your old story, write out the things that are coming out, the negative thoughts, with the intent of getting rid of them. That's like, I'm writing out my old story and getting rid of it. So you write it on a piece of paper and then you just get rid of it. Like, I'll crumple up and throw it away. Like, if you ever heard of writing and burning,
Yeah.
that's what that is. So throw it away, or I rip it up, or I put it through the shredder, or you can burn it. And then once you do that, then write out your positive statements. So because
I love that. I love, like, the visual of, like, getting rid of it and burning it. Like,
and they've done scientific research on that. They had people, I think it was in China, where they had people write down their negative thoughts, and they had half of them throw it away and they had the other half put it in their pocket and not get rid of it. And there was a difference between how they felt about that. So getting rid of it, and also just being aware of, like, these thoughts, just because I'm having these thoughts doesn't mean that they're true and they're real.
yeah.
And you get to a point where you can really recognize, like, oh, this isn't a thought. And there's times where I've been like, that was Satan. Oh my goodness. Like, I can feel how desperate he is to be like, I really want you to believe this. It's
Yeah, because he wants you to react.
crazy.
He wants you to yell. He wants you to lose it. Like,
he wants you to not enjoy your motherhood. And
and he's using all those old stories to push you into that as much as
So there's so much I could go into on that.
Yeah, this talk could go on forever.
I know it could. But also, when you start having that mom guilt, because that's normal, because you're not perfect, you're gonna do stuff. So just remind yourself, this is a story. It's okay, and I want to be that good mom for my children, and just, I'm human. But then also, that's where your support group comes in. I teach people set boundaries and have a support group. And so I have amazing friends that I can just message or call up and be like, hey, and talk to them about it. And they're not going to be like, oh, that's just the way it is. They help talk me through it. They ask questions. Like, I have a friend, she's amazing, because I went and gave a talk to some young woman about vision boards. And I'm like, it didn't go as well as I wanted it to. And she goes, well, did they all pay attention? Did they all participate? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, you did great. So letting go of that perfectionism and just having that support and putting it in the hands of God, just trusting him and being like, and knowing that he gave me this calling as mom, and he wasn't like, well, good luck.
Yeah.
He's there to support us, and you can always turn to him, and there's always something you can do. And if you're feeling that mom guilt, it's okay, and maybe,
Yeah, thank you. And like, one of the things that I want you moms to remember is that, like, yeah, God gave you these blessings, kids, as a blessing, and being a mother is a gift. And when God gives you gifts and blessings, feeling miserable shouldn't be part of it. Like, so if you're feeling miserable, yes, if you're feeling miserable, something's not right. Like, there's something that might be stories. Like, if you're feeling in depression or anxiety, and that's so crippling to your day-to-day life, like, this isn't what God meant for you. Like, your life can be way more than that. I mean, we both have, like, hard days, right? Like, we're human. We have hard days. But if you say in general, like, I would say in general, 90% of my life, like, I love and I enjoy. Like, I don't feel like I'm just dying inside, like, and crippling, right? And because that's what God wants for you. He wants you to have a life of abundance and thrive. Like, if you're God's child, he wants best for you. Like, you want the best for your kids. You don't want your kids to be like, hey, here's a blessing, but you should be surviving for the rest of your life. Like,
but I want you to hate it.
Yes, right?
Yes,
like, there's more to your life, and like, you can change that. So like, part of it is like, one of the things I have, like, even an episode on this. I'm like, what is God's responsibility and what is your responsibility in life? Because there are certain things that only God can do, like the spiritual aspect, but there's a ton of things that you can do and change in your day-to-day life, like your thoughts. Like, yes, you can ask God for support, but there's some stuff that you need to do.
Yeah, you need to act on that. Yeah.
Like, you can't be like, oh, God, you're responsible for everything, and give all responsibility to God and not take any action. Like, oh, God, help me read the Bible, and just like,
I'm just going to sit it here. And if you could just like
Netflix. Yeah. Like, you have to put intentionality. God says, draw near to me and I will draw near to you. Like, you have to take action. You can't just be like, oh, like, I don't have motivation, so whatever, like.
So you take care of it, please.
Yeah. Like, there's your part and there's God's part. And if you work together, you can, create a life that you want, and life where you thrive. So, oh my gosh, this was really good. Tell us where our listeners can connect with you and where they can find you.
So on Facebook, it's Story Changers with Brittania Wilkerson. And I don't
link it below in the
I don't really do much with my Instagram. I'm just mostly on there, or you can friend me, Brittania Wilkerson, on Facebook. And then I have a podcast called Change That Story. So
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. This has
really
been fun.
Good.
Hey mama, do you find yourself snapping over the smallest things, like spilled milk or constant whining, then feeling horrible afterwards? If you're tired of losing your temper and you want to show up with more patience, I have something for you. It's a free training called How to Be More Patient with Your Kids so you're not screaming over spilled milk. Inside, I'll walk you through 10 simple things you can start doing today to become a calmer, more Christ-like mom, even on the hard days. To get it for free, just leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and send a screenshot to hello@emotionallyhealthylegacy.com. Or if you'd rather skip the wait, you can grab it right now for just $27. The link is in the show notes. Let's help you become the peaceful, patient mom your kids need.